A very good o'clock, dear students. Here I am Nikita. I am your geography teacher. Students, today we will start a new chapter, that is 19 Natural Regions of the World second. So it's basically the continuation of the topic natural regions of the world. In this we are going to discuss another some regions, that is tropical desert region, tropical monsoon and Mediterranean climatic region. Okay. In this video, I'll be discussing only about the desert region, tropical desert. Okay. So basically, what is a desert? You all must be knowing. So desert is an area of scanty rainfall. Okay, an area where there's very less rainfall, that is less than 25 centimeter. That area turns to desert, and it's a vast stretch of land covered with the sand. Okay, basically, so it's known as desert. It may be hot like desert of Sahara and Arabia, as well as temperate like the mid latitude desert. Okay, desert are of two types, hot desert and cold desert. So those lying in the tropical region are hot deserts, and those lying in the temperate region are generally cold deserts. Okay, so these deserts may be cold also, and hot desert due to their location in the tropical zone are called tropical desert. As I told you that hot desert lie in the tropical region, that's why they are also known as tropical desert. And they are generally known for scarce life and very thin human population. Okay, they are known for scarce life, that is means less people living there, and very thin human population. This is the result of the lack of water in these region. As we know, the necessary conditions for life include water. Okay, most important condition. So due to lack of water, very less people inhabit this place. Next is location and extent. As I told you, these lie in the tropical region. It means that located on the western margins. Hot desert are always located towards the western margin of the continent. Okay, there's a particular region. Okay, there's a particular reason about it, and we have discussed it in the chapter when we're discussing winds. Okay, because there are only dry winds carried towards the west side. That's why most of the continents are located towards the western. Most of the desert are located on the western margin of the continent. Okay, between latitude of 15 to 30 degree, that is tropical latitudes, north and south, and the belt of trade winds. Okay, and these deserts are found in both the hemispheres poleward of the tropical grassland. It's found in both the hemispheres poleward of the tropical grassland. Okay, tropical grassland के ऊपर, poleward means to the north and to the south. Okay, it means towards the pole, जहाँ tropical grassland end होता है उसके बाद से आपका tropical desert start होता है. Okay, then climate, about the climate, as it's a desert, so there will be very dry and hot climatic condition. Annual rainfall less than 25 centimeter, as already told. Many places do not receive rainfall throughout the year. And it's not only low rainfall, it has a high variability also. It means that the rainfall is not equally distributed. There's no fixed period, there's no fixed time. Okay, then aridity is the most outstanding feature of this desert. Aridity means dryness. Okay, it's the most important feature of this desert. Sky remains cloudless most of the time. It means there's clear sky, because there's no rainfall, there's no precipitation, there's no evaporation. How will clouds form? Okay, relative humidity is very low. Dry climate, it means humidity is low. Presence of water vapor is very less. Between 60% in the coastal region and 30% in the interior of desert. If the desert is towards the coastal region, then it will be 60% humidity, and if towards the interior part we see, then there's only 30% humidity, and the desert thus become reason of the permanent drought. So basically it's a reason of the permanent drought. It means it always remains dry. Now let's talk about rainfall. As I already told, it's less than 25 centimeter. And rain in hot desert normally occurs as violent thunderstorm. If rain occurs only then it's also accompanied by heavy winds. Okay, and now when there are heavy winds, already the effect of rain will be very less. Okay, and there are result of convectional ascent of the air. How does it reduces? By the convectional effect of the air or scent of the air. It means when it gets very hot, then it rises up and then condenses, cool down to form the rainfall. Okay, only that is the reason. Over very small area, and the whole of the rainfall of a year may be received on a single day. Got it? It means that it can happen that only one day in the year there should be any rainfall. The rainfall in the desert is highly unreliable. Okay, it means there's no pattern of the rainfall in desert. The temperature talking about, as the name hot desert suggests, there are areas of high temperature. Mean temperature of the hottest month ranges between 30 and 35 degree Celsius. Okay, it means that the hottest month of the year will have a temperature of around 30 to 35 degree Celsius every day, and maximum temperature during the day often rises to 45 degree Celsius. The highest ever recorded temperature is of 58 degrees Celsius, being recorded at Azizia in the Libya. Now, but natural vegetation, if I see, due to very small amount, see, vegetation requires a lot of conditions like good soil, like water supply, like moist climate. Okay, all these things are required for the growth of plant. But since all of them are absent here, so due to very small amount of rainfall and high temperature leading to rapid evaporation of any moisture from the ground, the hot deserts have scanty vegetation. Already there is a lack of water, and then also rate of evaporation is very high since it's a very hot climate. Okay, so whatever water is retained in the soil, it's immediately evaporated. Okay, so most of the ground is bare, it means it's blank, no vegetation is there, and large areas of rocky or sandy surface without any sort of plant life. So there are large areas of rocky and sandy nature which have no plant life in them, and it grows in patches where some moisture is available. A very less and scattered vegetation can be found in some areas having a little moisture. Only the plants that can survive, extremely arid conditions can withstand here. Okay, it means only the plants which can adapt themselves according to the condition of the desert, only they can survive here. And these plants are called xerophytes. This type of plant include thorny scrubs, then cactus, prickly pears, etc. And there are very types of adaptations to withstand aridity. All of them have their different characteristics, features to adapt to the environment of the desert. And what the special features of vegetation? See, as an adaptation to withstand drought, the leaves of many of the plants are reduced to spines or thorns. Okay, as we see, the desert plants are characterized by, and the leaves are characterized by the thorns. Okay, thorns means unme kaate hote hain. Okay, this is because that it reduces the loss of water from them. Okay, the leaves convert themselves into the spine because it reduces the loss of water from the plant. Next, some have thick leathery leaves with a very smooth surface to minimize transpiration. Still others are leafless and store water in their stems and root. Okay, some plants have very thick roots. Okay, thick leaves, like the cactus has very thick leaves. Okay, and this prevent and it has a smooth surface too. Not cactus, but many plants have smooth surface too, which reduces the transpiration. Okay, it means that loss of water from the leaves. Then many plants do not have any leaves. Okay, they store water only in their stem. And some of the desert plant vegetation may remain dormant for years if conditions are not favorable for their growth. Such plants come to life immediately after rain, complete their entire life cycle from germination to flowering and seed formation within a short period. Okay, means some plants do not grow without any rainfall. So when there is a rainfall, only in that period they complete their whole plant cycle and they grow into a plant. So cacti are the most typical plants growing in the hot desert, and the most common plants can also be said. There are many species of these plants. There are many species of cacti, and they have a shallow root that spread outward to obtain moisture from a large area. They have shallow roots. It means the roots are near the surface that can obtain moisture from the large area, store water in their stems, and some of the cacti grow in clumps while others grow tall and have smooth and ribbed stem. Some of them grow in groups, okay, whereas some of them grow very tall, okay, and have smooth surface. They throw up large brightly colored flowers, and some of them bear fleshy fruits. Some of the cacti grow flowers as well as some of them also have fleshy fruits. Means there's a pulp inside, and in some parts of the desert are found dwarf trees like acacia. In the better watered locations like oasis, the date palms found. Okay, oasis is a place where the water can be found in the desert. It's an area in the desert where some water is available. Okay, so towards the oasis there are date palm trees grow. Date palm, as you know, it's a fruit eaten, dry fruit, and these are the centers of greenery in otherwise dreary expanse of the desert. Means these are the only place where you can find some good vegetation. People and modes of life in tropical desert. Now let us talk about how and what kind of people live here. Due to adverse climatic condition, life in desert is extremely difficult and hard. Okay, It's very difficult to find water, it's very difficult to find food, it's very difficult to live there with the hot climate, harsh climatic conditions, with sand dunes, okay. And there is an extreme temperature difference too in the temperature of day and night, okay, in the desert. As you know, in the interiors of the continent, there is always a diurnal range of temperature is high. It means it is the hottest during day and it's very chilled during the night, okay. So it's very difficult for them to adjust in these harsh climatic conditions, and they lead their life in small groups by hunting or food gathering. These dwellers vary a great deal. These are varied from each other in a larger sense, and each one adapting to their environment. First, we study about the Bushmen of the Kalahari. It's the name given to the natives of Kalahari Desert, that is in Africa, and it's name given by the whites of South Africa to the blacks. They are San people, also known as Khoisan. It's their tribe name, and probably they're descendant from the very first original people of Africa, okay. Traditionally, they live in a group of 20 or less than that, so that they can lead their life easily, okay. And they lead a nomadic life, moving from place to place in search of food. Nomadic means they do not stay at a place, they keep on moving from one place to another in search of food and water. They lead their life solely by hunting and gathering. They do not grow any crops or rear any animals, okay. They are totally dependent upon hunting and gathering. Unlike people who are dependent on domestic animals, they only live in tribes, they only live in small families, so they can meet their requirements of food and water from the difficult environment. It means that they do not form a great tribe, okay. They only form small families and then live in them, so that they can easily complete their requirements. And they wear minimum clothing in the hot condition. Clothing they wear is very minimum because the conditions are very hot. And they use the traditional methods of hunting and killing the animals, like the bow and arrow formed by them, okay. Next is Aborigines of Australian. So there are desert in Australia in which the aborigines. Aborigines mean people who live originally in that place, who are born originally in that place, okay. So these are hunter gatherers who grow no crops. Again, they live the same life like the Kalahari people. So they grow no crops, do not domesticate any animals apart from dingo. Dingo is a community of them which rear the animals. So they're directly dependent upon natural environment, okay. Basically they lead a nomadic life in the sense, but their sense of place is very strong, okay. It means they choose their place very wisely. They know, they have an intimate knowledge of the environment. They know where they can find what thing which is useful to them. They are finely tuned to nature, means they are connected totally with the nature, and they know each and everything about their climate. And they know the seasonal changes, its influence on the availability of food and water. It means they are totally connected with the topography of the region in which they are living, and they can live in any condition, okay. So they can track animals over long distances, okay, means they are very active in hunting and gathering. Then about the Tuaregs. Tuaregs live in Western Sahara Desert. They lead a nomadic life, rearing sheep, goats and camels. Basically there are animal herders, okay. So they rear sheep, goats and camel. And the driest part of the desert do not have any vegetation suitable for grazing. Obviously it's a desert, dry part may not have sufficient vegetation for the grazing of animals. So they move to parts where there is some rainfall, that is about 25 centimeter, where they can find some pastures. Pastures means grassland. They can find coarse grass, they can find there. And their food consists of milk, millets and dates. These wear flowing robes, means very loose clothes, so that air can act as an insulating layer against the heat, so that they can be protected by the heat. They also wear a headdress and a scarf on the mouth up to the nose to cover their face from the dust and sand, okay, against the dust and sand. Last tribe is the Bedouins. Bedouins means dwellers of desert, okay. Dwellers means those which are wandering in the desert. So these are the inhabitants of the Arabian desert. They are found in the Arabian desert. Their way of life is very similar to that of Tuaregs of Western Sahara. Basically both of them are the animal herder, animal rearing tribes, and they are exclusively dependent upon camel breeding. They do not rear any animals other than camel. So they lead a nomadic life, living in the tents and moving from pasture to pasture with their flock of animals. They also move with their flock of animals, living in tents where the sufficient things are available for their life. And they dress like they dress in white cotton flowing robe, okay, white cotton garment which is very flowy, and also they wear a headdress for the protection against heat and dust. Okay, so that was all about the tribes of desert areas. Okay, and hope you all have understood. Do let me know of any doubts. Thank you.